Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to VidaneTV. It is Thursday night, so you know what that means. It is Neps night in America, baby, and even parts of Maritime Canada. Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr. up here in the production trailer alongside me, as always, here with the NEPiRacing Series, Aaron Creed. Aaron, how we feel tonight, brother?
Oh, we're feeling pretty good. We're kind of going step back in time. It's not a throwback race, but we're at the old Atlanta layout, and it's always a fun little place. A very kind of bouncy, fast track, as Arsal put in the race notes that we'll see in a little bit. But they're gridded already, so let's get going with the starting lineup.
Yeah, line up 2x2 all the way through there on the front straightaway. Got to give a shout out to Ash and Ricky tuned in over there on the Twitch stream. Going to be jumping in some GTA later on here tonight. But Kenny Kibbe up front on the pole. You and I were kind of pulling our hairs out just a little bit before the race, trying to figure out exactly how many points you get for being on the pole. You get the 1 point for being on the pole. Steve Daddio, the points leader, coming into tonight with a 12-point lead over Reagan Parent. Reagan Parent back in 15th position in the qualifying. That's going to be something we're going to follow up on here momentarily. Brandon Newhouse, Ryan Lippy, and Keith Lord going to be the top 5 as they qualify here at Atlanta.
Yeah, and there's 6th through 10th. Dale Glessner had a pretty good run going once again last time out at Talladega. He looked to solidify a strong run today here at Atlanta. Ryan Salvatore starting 7th. Arsal with a good top 10 qualifying run. Austin Belke starting 8th after a great run at Talladega. Jason Ricker and Evan Boyer, a couple drivers from up there in Upper New England in Maine, rounding out that top 10.
Bunch of short track racers showing up in strong numbers for the cookie cutter track, a mile and a half down here in Atlanta. Johnny Miller in that number 6 car, qualifying just outside the top 10. Corey Casagrande, massive finish last week, finishing in the on the podium last week. Going to roll off P12 here. You can see the rest of the starting lineup get rolling across your screen there. 24 cars here at Atlanta here in the Xfinity cars. Going to do battle. And we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. Only 2 races left here after the race here tonight. A late model race at Loudon, and then an Xfinity race to cap things off for the Dover 100 Championship race here in a couple of weeks' time. We're getting down to it, and we're getting down to the point where we're going to be crowning a champion. And one of the cool tools that Ryan Salvatore from Arsal TV has hooked us up with, and this is going to be something we're going to be testing with, so bear with us, is the points as they run. We're going to try and update that throughout the night here and throughout the next couple of races. But there you see it, the top 5 in points coming into the night. And there you see Barney in the flag stand waving that green flag. We are racing here for the Rapid Car Body 65 at Atlanta.
And Kenny Kibbe jumps out to the early lead. Outside that top 5 in points coming into this race. Currently 6th, the defending champion is. So he's going to try to pick up some points. He might be just slightly out of contention now of the championship. He's going to try to get every point he can. Already picked up that point to win the pole, and he's going to come around and lead a lap. That's another point, if I'm remembering how this stuff is calculated once again. Any number greater than 0 gives a driver 1 point. So how about that? For Kenny Kibbe picking up another spot, we're kind of going to have to do our calculations on the fly, because one of our points leaders in the top 5 in points that was in contention, not in the field tonight.
Yeah, John Peters not making a qualifying attempt here tonight, and a lot of the top 5 qualifying outside of the top 5. You can see Steve Daddio there in the 99 car trying to take back that 2nd spot. Everybody else well outside of the top 10, top 15 even. Reagan Parent qualifying 15th. Ryan Messer back there in the 17th position, and Brent Roy all the way back in the 22nd spot. So a bit of work to do for some of our championship contenders, and Steve Daddio, just another night at the office. You can see that 99 car looks like it's pretty well hooked up in that middle groove, and he's going to try and take a shot at the lead. Brandon Newhouse in that 3 car going to cross the stripe as the leader here for lap number 4. Check that. Lap number 5. Nope. Check that again. Lap number 4. And Daddio going to try and make easy work up on that high side as they come out of turn 2.
Let's not ignore that YRD Designs Camaro, though. Number 3, Brandon Newhouse getting out into that early lead there on lap 2. Doing a great job right now after some struggles at Talladega last week. Brandon's doing a great job right now early on, riding in the top 5. He'd love to close out, kind of wind down this season with some strong runs. He's actually yet to finish top 5 this season, only led 3 laps coming into this race. So a great job by Brandon Newhouse. He's getting challenged, though, now by Keith Lord Arsal kind of dubbed him as one of the drivers to watch coming into this race. Kind of the wild card, as he always shows some pretty good speed on these 1.5 mile tracks, and he's doing it once again in that number 17, moving that Lord Spotting Services Chalu number 17 car into the second position. And we got trouble on the tri-oval. Someone almost getting some air. I think that was Arsal. In the 12, still skidding across the grass. Are we going to stay green? That's the big question. Looks like they're all facing the right way.
Yeah, big monster save from Corey Casagrande and Ryan Salvatore. You nailed it right on the head there. You can see still trying to get that thing back up to speed, and that is detrimental. That 12 car had a fantastic top 10 qualifying effort, and unfortunately being scored last car on the lead lap, losing a lot of track. That's one of those deals that could have been a whole lot worse than it was. You saw a couple of those cars get a little bit of air down there in that front straightaway grass, but they kept it pointed in the right direction, kept that momentum in the right way, and, well, we stay clean and green working lap number 7, and that battle for the lead still hot up front.
Yeah, and I'm watching a little bit behind, kind of lurking up there on the high line, is the 117 of Regan Parent, as he has snuck into the 6th position. We saw he had some connection issues last week at Talladega, and that kind of relegated him to just kind of trying to survive several laps down. But he is back in tip-top shape and trying to muscle away that point lead once again. But he's going to have to get up to that 99 of Steve Dario. Actually just lost the lead to another 17 car.
And you can see racing is tight all the way around this racetrack. It's always cool to see the short track guys take a shot at these big tracks. You can see it kind of looks like a little bit of conveyor belt action right now. Essentially it is, but a lot of these drivers are trying different lines. You can see Regan Parent going all the way up out of the outside wall, touches the outside wall, gets a little bit loose. Just kidding, gets big time loose in that 17 car, holds on to it, barely loses some momentum, but loses one of those spots. Evan Bollier in the 56, gonna take a peek down on the bottom side and see if he can take away that 7th position.
Yeah, that was some good racing right there, or good driving right there to save that ride. And so that could have been a big problem that could have ended his championship chase. But he's still back out there, and he got back around Bollier now, and he's not giving up on that outside line despite that near disaster. He's getting awful close to those walls and safer barriers. Actually, if those safer barriers weren't in, he might have not hit the wall. He was that close to it. So, but Regan Parent going to try to regroup and get back up to these front 6 cars as Kenny Kibbe kind of turning up the wick once again after starting on the pole and leading the first lap. He's moving in back into the top 5 under Brandon Newhouse and now under Dale Glessner.
Pardon me, Lord Daddy-O, Libby, Glessner, and Kibbe, the top 5 as they run. There's that number 3 car we had mentioned earlier of Brandon Newhouse, still side by side, getting it sorted out, going to take another shot up on that middle to high groove, and you can really see him kind of arc that car in there, try and get a little bit, wouldn't quite call it a late apex, but really kind of turning that car in late in that 3 car, driving it down the banking and trying to catch up to the back bumper of that 4 car. And you can see really slings it around there, and he's starting to seem like there's 3, 4, 5, maybe half a dozen cars that are starting that same line.
Yeah, definitely. And we were talking about how it was kind of being a conveyor belt for a little bit, but I didn't think that was going to be very long-lived. It was going to be short-lived. As these teams, they have 2 extra sets of tires in the pits. So even though this is an abrasive racetrack, it's one of those things where, you know, if we get a yellow flag, I have a feeling we're going to see almost everyone coming down pit road for some new sneakers. So we'll see if my prediction comes true, if that even happens. Well, right now, we've been clean and green so far in this race. Had a couple near catastrophes there, but everyone keeping it going. We have pretty much everyone on the lead lap. I think we got 1 car in the pits. As you can see with the scoring pylon, once it goes outside the top 20 here, yeah, Cody LeBlanc down on pit road. Not sure what happened to the 07 there. But yeah, some of these drivers really getting antsy here on the virtual racetrack, but also getting antsy to go real racing here very shortly. I know Corey Casagrande, he's racing next weekend at Hickory. So I'm sure a few of the NEP guys are going to be down there hanging out and whatnot. So right now, here's a good battle for fourth between Glessner, Uhouse, and Libby. And we are almost a quarter way through this thing already.
Yeah, picking them up, putting them down here at Atlanta, and you and I have both gotten a little bit of a taste of some real racing action already this calendar year, and I can tell you, it made me a lot more hungry for some race cars on track up here in the Northeast. You can see these guys hungry for a win, hungry for a good finish, and hungry for a good points day as well. We made mention our South TV hooking us up with some new toys here this week for some live unofficial scoring, and this is as they were running about a lap or two ago. Big noticeable change here is John Peters going to slide back to fifth after not starting here tonight. We may even see that 4-car of Kenny Kibbe slide on up in to that top 5 with starting here tonight. But as they run, that's the top 5 in points. Daddio on top, Parent in second, Messer and Brent Roy, top 4 drivers in the point standings. 2 races to go after this one.
Yeah, John Peters already used that drop earlier in the season, so this is pretty much going to unfortunately close out his hopes for a 4th NEP title. So more than likely we're going to see a new champion in the NEP series. So you all have to tune in here the next couple Thursdays as well, as it's pretty much one of our closest point battles we've ever seen. Now, if Steven Daddio continues running out front like he is, leading all these laps and maybe sealing another victory, it could be all over here before we know it. But right now, Kenny Kibbe really challenging back as he has moved back towards this battle for the lead. He's going to lead some laps himself in that number 4. He's pretty much got nothing to lose right now. Just go out there and win races. And that's what looks like what his plan is right now in that number 4 Camaro.
Yeah, and Daddio doing exactly what he needs to do to keep that points lead here tonight as well. He's staying up towards the front, battling for the lead. If you win all the races left, well, there's no chance for anybody to get it at better points than you at that point in time. And he came in with a little bit of a cushion here this evening. Speaking of championship battles, Ryan Messer leading the points in the RBR iRacing, or the RBR Maritimes Group, Easy Clean Super Late Model Series here that runs on Monday nights. A unique situation where the first caution flag going to fly here tonight. We'll get back to Messer in just a moment, but looks like we might have trouble for one of the other Canadians in the field, Brent Roy. Oh, big trouble.
Yes, big trouble. The 26 cars clashed right there, and Brent had a disappointing qualifying run, and it's kind of been not the greatest night for Brent Roy, who previously was in the title chase as well. Like you said, I think he's still 4th in points, still has a shot. Actually 5th in points. But this might end that if he can't get back out there. But through the trial here, it seemed like some trouble may have been brewing. Actually, not till the trial there. They meet entering turn 1. Colby Burkholder and Brent Roy. Brent going to end up that's a scary one right there. We're hoping Brent's doing all right. I'm sure he is in that number 26. And a tough break for Colby Burkholder, I think he's pretty much sealing that rookie title, despite this unfortunate luck, is Jeff Bradway for the 2nd week in a row missing the show. Still down there enjoying that Florida weather from what I saw on Discord. So tough break there for all involved, but we're going to see who comes down pit road now.
Yeah, you see it all the time in football and basketball and sometimes hockey where players will swap jerseys there in playoffs. I don't think that works for race car hoods. I don't think you might be able to swap hoods, but definitely not during a race. We might have to check on that afterwards. But that is indeed going to open up pit road for everybody. Everybody down here, and it looks like everybody's taking their time. You can see all those drivers mashing on the throttle there. Lots and lots and lots of 2-tire stops. A couple of 4-tire stops towards the back of the pack, but Kibbe going to beat everybody off pit road. Daddio going to come down in second. Lord, Bollier, and Uhouse, the top 5.
Yeah, not too many comers or goers there, as it seems like a lot of the drivers that entered the top 10, entered the yellow in the top 10, are exiting in the top 10. So Bollier picked up a few positions. It looks like, Ryan Messer up to 8th. So, it looked like further back in the top 10, back in the field, as you mentioned, some taking 4 tires, some taking 2 tires. Johnny Miller, Zane Farrell, Jared Adams. We haven't really talked about any of them knocking on the door of a top 10 spot. as they will look to capitalize when we go back to green in a couple laps. So right now, though, it's Kenny Kibbe, Stephen Daddio. We've been those two. We've said a lot about them this season, and they're kind of leading the way once again.
Working lap number 22, lights still on top of the iRacing pace car. Everybody going to kind of line up single file, and it gives this is one of those unique opportunities that we have here in the NEP series with these big tracks. We've got a little bit of extra time for these drivers to kind of get their heads back on straight, get their belts tightened up, and give them just a little bit of time to think. And it gives us an opportunity to thank everybody that's out there watching here on a Thursday night. We know you could be anywhere here on a Thursday night, but you chose to join us here, and we appreciate that. We're live all over the internet trying to take over. We're over on Facebook for the VidaneTV page as well as the NEP iRacing page. We're over on Twitch. We're over on the VidaneTV YouTube page. Lots of cool stuff going on in the 2024 calendar year. Got a lot of stuff penciled in for the spring and summer, and even this winter's starting to get kind of spicy as far as the scheduling. Be sure to get up on all of our social media outlets here, and be sure to check out some of our races on demand over on the YouTube page. And hey, make sure you get a hat and a hooded sweatshirt, a t-shirt, all sorts of cool stuff to get yourself ready to rock and roll for the 2024 racing season. We know we get closer and closer to the iRacing season's end, but that means real race cars on real racetracks, and it's going to start getting warm here in the Northeast very soon.
There you go. And I know you guys have gotten a little bit of a taste of it here. I think these past couple Mondays, I think it was, with some mild weather. I've heard from some of my friends and family up north, and we've had some good days down here, even in North Carolina, hoping for some good days when it's time to go to the racetracks. I know that was a struggle last season. You know, you're all ready to go, and then it rains every Saturday. And it always seems like it's on a 7-day schedule, that nasty weather. But hopefully a lot less of that this year. We know a lot of those racetracks, they're looking to get some really good racing in here instead of watching the clouds open up. So I think we're still getting things sorted out here. Ryan Libby was kind of running a little bit out of position there. There he goes into the 7th spot. So we'll see what they can do here. Always forget that 17. I thought I had Chalu Performance on it, but I always says Cha Lord on the side. Something like that.
One of those mashups. Isn't that what the kids are calling them? Mashups nowadays?
Yeah, something like that. I was thinking remix, but mashup I think is the correct term. I'm a few years older than you, Paul. But
hey, we looked it up so you didn't have to. Green flag flying once again. Kibbe with the whole shot. He's going to get himself a couple of car lengths as they head into one.
Yes, for sure. Kibbe really checking out there as Daddio gets held up a little bit on the outside there. Keith Lord going to the inside. Evan Boyer kind of noticed that the 99 is held up there for a little bit. Took a peek in the inside line, but now he's going to file back into behind the 99, seeing that's the quicker line. But here comes Brandon Newhouse once again. He is strong on these starts and restarts. Brandon Newhouse is just Atlanta, you say, shot out of a canyon right there. Is an ARCA race about 25 years ago, was said. And so thought that was appropriate here in Atlanta. But Brandon Newhouse hoping that he can pull off the upset victory later on. He's currently riding in 2nd, though, having a great run.
As you can see, Daddio taking a shot down on the bottom side, sliding back to that 3rd position. There you can see another shot at the top 5 point standings as they run. And as we get into this one, Daddio looking better and better, feeling better and better about his odds at the championship. 26 points. Now that cushion as they run over 2nd place, new 2nd place driver, Ryan Messer, with Reagan Parent being mired back in outside of the top 10 here at this point. And as we show the point standings, it looks like they've updated once again. So we'll keep an eye on that throughout the night here. And you can see even 2-3 laps into this run, these guys don't even have all the heat built up in the tires just yet, but they are still all over the racetrack searching for that little bit of extra grip to try and get themselves that track position they need.
Well, in motorsports, you stay. It's not over till it's over, though. So, Daddio having a pretty good run, and he's been ultra consistent this season. But one misstep by another competitor, maybe a mistake that he makes, and we've have 20-some cars still on the lead lap. A 3rd-place run could turn into 21st just like that. But and that would change that as they run graphic a whole bunch. But right now, Stephen Daddio holding it pretty well once again in that 99, trying to get back around Brandon Uhouse for that second spot, as Kenny Kibbe has led since this race restarted in the number 4. The Michigan driver doing a great job out front.
We talked a lot about the points getting into this one. Let's talk about the biggest mover of the race here before he takes over the lead. How about Zane Farrell in that 14 car? He's up 17 spots here in this 28 lap race so far, just shy of the halfway mark. And that 14 car getting it in.
Yeah, he's hungry to get some good runs here in at the end of the season after missing last week at Dega. He's down in Disney having a good time. Saw he made some friends with some turkeys one morning. So, but Zane kind of putting the wildlife aside right now and battling inside the top 5 right now, trying to get around Regan Parent, who's recovered quite a bit as well after falling outside the top 10. This car, it doesn't seem like it's hurt much from that brush with the wall earlier on. He's battling inside the top 5 as well.
Zane Farrell trying to go from Disney to victory lane. Oh boy!
I'll take that Mickey impression.
That's all I got. That's all I got.
Better than mine. Better than mine, but ain't using that high side. How about that? Another driver we want to watch that's a pretty big mover is Adam Henry in that 62. It's kind of a 10-car pack right now. He's right now trailing that back of the front pack in 10th spot. He was another one of our drivers to watch from RSAL's pre-race briefing that he gave us. Henry Racing, Adam Henry finished 23rd here last season, but he bets over under for him tonight. It was 15.5, so he has been improving for sure this season. We saw him running towards the front. I think he might have led a handful of laps at Talladega last week, and he's doing a good job. But look at the mixing it up out front. Brendan Uhouse back in the top for now.
I was just going to say that one of my favorite configurations of a racetrack is this old Atlanta setup, and this is exactly why. You've got it's almost like 5-wide racing, but they aren't quite next to each other. They're just using 5 different types of line, and they're kind of meeting in one spot on the racetrack. It's artistic racing at its finest. You can see we're side by side, at least for the front 3 rows, and these front 6 or 8 cars kind of break it away just a little bit while still racing all around the racetrack, utilizing every single inch of this racetrack. Give Kibbe the lead for right now, but Uhouse doing a phenomenal job up on that high side. He's got Reagan Parent in the 17 up there, Daddio on the 99 down on the bottom side of the racetrack. These guys are racing for all of it here, just shy of the halfway marker.
Yeah, Parent I saw him a couple times. He's doing it again, kind of trying to almost make it 3 wide. I don't know if you can quite make it 3 wide for very long here, despite how spacious this track is. Once you get into those tight confines of the tri-oval right there, that could spell some bad news, especially with that grass. We saw that cause some trouble earlier already. But right now, Regan Parent just riding behind Brandon Uhouse is now the inside line working a little better as Stephen Daddio is going to get back up to second. And, some excellent racing going on here at the old Atlanta configuration. Kenny Kibbe continuing to show the way, though.
Taking a peek at that 14 car, just barely breaking into the top 5 for a split moment, dropping back to that 6th position. Still up 11 spots. Check that, up 17 spots before he qualified. Reagan Parent up 11 spots in that 17 car, trying to make a little magic happen a little bit further up. But it's great to see, and you can almost already hear the Zane Farrell interview when he does well. It's just kind of a nonchalant, like, yeah, we felt like showing up, and here we are with a fast car. So it's great to see Zane showing up. Well, a little bit of a connection issue there in that 14 car, gathers it back up. Everything A-OK for the time being, but still astounded at the racing up front. These guys putting on a heck of a show here on lap 36.
Oh, yeah, and they're not done yet. You still got half of this race to go. A little bit less than half, but who's counting? But Regan Parent there trying to reel in on Stephen Daddio in the points race. And now that that's not going to be good as he goes way wide there on the back stretch, loses a couple positions, but Daddio going to, not Daddio, Parent going to gather it back up. I was about to say he's reeling him in, Daddio in the points race, but now he's going to lose a couple spots and there's going to be a few more points behind. So, but again, we don't know. It won't be over till it's over. He's still right within striking distance, battling with Zane Farrell and Evan Boyer at the moment. And, Zane Farrell now nudging the wall as well.
Getting the outside just a little bit. puff of smoke, nothing more than that. Looks like the 56 car going to take the bottom side of the track. Parent going to go down there as well. Zane's still going to utilize that top side of the track. This time he's going to come down and take a look at the bottom side of the racetrack, maybe tuck into the tire tracks there of Glessner. We can move on up through that top 5 or so. Brandon Newhouse in the 3 car still there as well. He's down low at Keith Lord having a solid run in 3rd right now. Steve Daddio, Kenny Kibbe up front. There you can see the gap relatively quiet. The front 4 cars or so have kind of pulled off to their own little race. Dale Glessner in the 10 car has himself a little breathing room, and then we're right back here with Bollier and Farrell kind of spread out just a little bit. So these guys do have some tires down on pit road. They could potentially come down here depending on whether or not we get a caution here. I think they've got enough fuel to make it to the end of the race.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, it could be interesting too. Yeah, like you said, it says max of approximately 42 green flag laps. So, yeah, I think we had a caution around lap 20-ish. I think it was. So, yeah, that's right on the cusp. So, I don't know if anyone's going to be able to stretch it, but I have a feeling though, if we continue to go green, I think we're going to see some good, a good amount of green flag pits. Maybe with 10, 15 to go, something like that. That's only my prediction, though, so I could be completely wrong. But we have some great battles once again going on, although it is fanning out just a little bit. While I say that, Evan Bollier pulling to the inside of Dale Glessner for the 5th spot. And they're continuing on with a good battle, and a good battle going on for 3rd between Keith Lord and Brandon Newhouse.
Yeah, Newhouse taking a peek down low, nothing quite there. Going to tuck back into the tire tracks for the time being. And you can see it's not even really trying to make the pass here, just using a different line than Keith Lord is up in that time. And you can see gets a little bit of momentum on corner entry, but loses that momentum, loses that little bit of track position once Keith Lord kind of keeps up on that high side. So guys trying different strategies here around Atlanta. We've seen it in all sorts of racing here at Atlanta, whether it's sim racing, real racing, cup racing, or anything in between. There's Doug Glessner, Zane Farrell back in the 7th position. Reagan Perrin, Austin Belke, and Adam Henry currently the top 10 as they run. Bit of a breakaway back to Bobby Shipp, who's having a solid run in that 04 car himself, up 7 spots from where he started.
Yeah, great job for Bobby Shipp right now. He had a good run in Talladega as well, going into I think he lost the lap. He helped his brother Brian Shipp have a great run. But a couple positions behind, there's one of Ryan Master, all the way back in 13th right now. If there's a driver that's either hoping for a yellow flag to bunch things up, or if we do go green, might potentially gamble, it might be this guy. As right in the thick of the points race, but quite a bit back. Kind of uncharacteristic run for Ryan Messer right now in the number 1 machine.
Get back here with Ryan Libby. He's lost a bunch of spots as well. That 46 car seems to be fairly off the pace compared to what we usually see. Jason Ricker back here as well. All running behind Corey Casagrande, kind of being bookended here, this little group, like Corey Casagrande and Ryden Salvatore, those 2 drivers that got into it earlier on in this one. No caution, but, oh, trouble, there's a caution. Zane Farrell around in the 14 car, Dale Glessner in it as well. It looks like they're able to get woed up before they hit anything, but that is a tough break for those 2 drivers running, I believe, both up in the top 5, definitely the top 10. But that's going to bring out our second caution here with 21 laps to go.
And folks, that was not the YRD Designs replay. That was not in slow motion. They really woed it down there to stay off that inside wall. We'll take a look at it in real time here. Actually, from the blimp.
All
How
the
about
way
that?
out of the blimp. We can see these little specks racing each other. Oh, man, we got to get this glass sorted out. Oh, there you see the 10 car. Looks like he kind of got in there just a little bit too hot to trot, got up into the outside wall. And as he was kind of slowing down, Zane Farrell was getting in there a little hot as well and kind of drifted up the track and into each other. And there you can see that almost simultaneous slow motion spinning and then slow motion half recovery. And then they stop right next to each other and they yell out through the window, "Hey, let's go golfing."
I'm sure that's what they're doing, right? Zane was kind of innocent bystander there, I thought, in that incident. But we're back down pit road once again with 20 to go. this might be the second and final set of tires for some of these guys, and it might be the last time we see these guys come down pit road. So we're gonna see how this sets up the final 17, 18 laps once we go back to green.
You can see everybody down on pit road. Ryan Salvatore, Jeffrey Brown, Kenny Kibbe, two drivers have stayed out. Kenny Kibbe going to be the first driver off pit road, I think. Ryan Messer with a 2-tire stop. He's going to come off second, and he's going to be scored with P4. Brandon Uhouse going to come off there, and fifth, Evan Bollier, Steve Daddio, Keith Lord, Austin Belke. The race off pit road, that's going to jumble things up in the points for sure.
Yeah, that's strategy right there for sure. Ryan Messer electing to do something a little different, and I kind of thought that he was going to. And right now, he is actually ahead of his championship contenders for the time being. Once we go back to green, we'll see if he can hold up with those front-running competitors. We see he's kind of fallen back a little bit. Jeff Brown coming down pit road this time by in the 27, so it'll be Arsal kind of out there by himself, staying out, switching it up a little as well in the number 12. And if he doesn't come down pit road before we go back to green, he'll be leading us to green in that number 12 car with Kenny Kibbe second, Ryan Messer third, Brandon Uhouse fourth, and Evan Bollier.
And just outside the top 5, I believe for the first time all night, it's going to be Steve Daddio in that double 99 car. He's going to be still the points leader here as we run. 15 points over Reagan Parent, the new second place driver, or check that over Ryan Messer, the new second place driver. Reagan Parent, 2 more points back in third. John Peters not in the race here this evening, and Brent Roy finding himself being scored in the 23rd position after that earlier incident here tonight. So still relatively close. It's a little bit closer between first and third, and it's a little bit further apart between first and second as they run in the points, but still super tight as we get down to it. 19 to go here tonight. 2 more races to go on the season. Next week, racing in the late model cars at Loudon, and the following week, going to be racing the Xfinity cars at Dover for the 100-lapper to close off the season and crown ourselves a champion. And it's going to be tight heading into that final race.
Oh, yeah, and both of those are tight, mile-long tracks, a little bit shorter than the Atlanta, a little bit bigger than your usual short track, though. So both will result in some intense racing, I am sure. I think we closed out last season at Dover, and it was pretty exciting. But we're going to double up. We're going to get ready to go back to green. We still got a whole other time around. We could talk a little bit more about that. But I know you were talking about Ryan Messer earlier. I don't think you had a chance to finish your thought when we had a yellow earlier on.
Finish my thought. That was like 5 minutes ago. That thought's gone, brother.
Yeah, I don't know what I had for breakfast either, so I get it. If it happened in 1993, I would have known it vividly, so I get it. But I know you were talking about how he's leading the points in the Maritime Series, and Ryan Messer trying to do, like you said the other week, he won in a couple different series in 1 week, so that was kind of cool. So now he's going to try to go for 2 championships.
Yeah, but ATV's Iron Man in that one car. Ryan Messer, some unique colors there from the real racing world into the sim racing world, having himself a solid top 5 run here in the NEP series. And new second place driver in points, leading the Monday night points over in the Super Late Model Series presented by RBR Maritime. So always cool to see when drivers do well, doing well here again on the big track, the 1.5 miler, and we're going to get that green flag. And Ryan Salvatore going to take that high side. That's going to be a little sketchy getting into it. 3 wide heading into 1.
It got sketchy behind them with Ryan Messer kind of anticipating that restart, maybe spinning the tires a little bit. He loses a bunch of positions now as looks like his championship contender Regan Parent is able to get by. I think Stephen Daddio was able to get by as well. So tough break for Ryan Messer on that restart. Not the restart he wanted. Stephen Daddio's back in the top 5, challenging Arsal for 3rd spot as we come around to complete another lap. And it's those 2 drivers that are really good on these short runs, Kenny Kibbe and Brandon Uhouse out front.
And you can see just how much of this racetrack is being utilized. There's the 99 car going down on the bottom side, taking that 3rd position away from Ryan Salvatore. Austin Belke having a quiet, solid run in that 24 car. Didn't really talk about Belke too much until the end of the race last week and having a solid run in that 24 car as well, and having a good run here tonight at Atlanta. 3 wide in behind them. Bollier going to come up the middle.
Yeah, Arcel just trying to hang on, it seems like, right now in that number 12, maybe staying out. Might not have been the best call right there, but you never know what can happen here before all is said and done. It's Corey Casagrande also moving into the top 10 now. Ryan Messer actually behind Casagrande, and Messer just hanging on for a top 10 spot now.
Yeah, we saw earlier on, came down for 2 tires, got down pit road pretty quickly, but unfortunately not quite what the doctor ordered for that race car, falling back just a little bit. There you see the 46 car and the 9 of Ricker there as well. They want to gather that spot back up. Up front, everybody's still chasing Kenny Kibbe, though. That 4 car, he's got about 4 or 5 car lengths over Brandon Newhouse in second, points leader Steve Daddio running in third, Bollier and Parent in the top 5. Oh, big trouble.
And we got trouble. Scott McDonald, haven't talked about him all night. But there he is around, and Ryan Libby, he's missing a front bumper now in the aftermath. So we'll have to take a look at the replay, see what happened to Scott McDonald as their third yellow comes out. YRD Designs replay. Let's see what happened.
Yeah, Salvatore getting a piece of the action as well. It looks like it. Well, it might have started with that 12 car in the handling after staying out there. Commendable effort on old tires. There you can see. I'm not sure why our helicopter driver is so dang far away this evening. Let's see if we can switch over to the other helicopter. What is this, a drone cam? We'll switch over to this one. This one's just a little bit more legible. There's the 12 car up on the high side. You can see gets up into that high side. And then just unfortunately comes back down. A couple of drivers, 3 drivers to be exact, in the same piece of real estate and getting down and slamming into that inside wall. That's a tough break for Sal, staying out there on old tires, trying to make the best of it, but unfortunately not what they were looking for here for this evening's finish.
No, not for sure. And then break as well for Bobby Ship, who we saw was kind of in there. I think he was as high as 11th spot earlier on, and unfortunately, that might be all she wrote for the 04 car as well, as we're down to about only 15 or 16 cars on the lead lap. I think Scott McDonald lost a lap, Ryan Salvatore down a lap already. So we'll have to see a lot of attrition, and the field's narrowing itself down a little bit now as some of these drivers fixing some damage, getting things fixed. No fast repairs, so they might be down there on pit road with some of those impacts for a decent amount of time. Colby Burkholder, he was actually 12 laps down, but now he's 10 laps down because I think he got the free pass the last couple times. But yeah, we saw with the impact that he had earlier on, down on pit road for several laps, just trying to pick up any spots he can to finish this race off and go home and head back north, as we all head back north to New Hampshire next week. But back up front, we're going to have about 10 laps to go when we go back to green. Kenny Kibbe and Brandon Newhouse seem to be the ones to beat here.
Yeah, New Hampshire Loudon Motor Speedway, or New Hampshire Motor Speedway, as it were, kind of a home track for a lot of these drivers based in the northeast section of the country. So that's always a cool track to go to. Dover, another one of those tracks as well, one of the 1 mile kind of big short tracks, as it were, that are kind of up here in the northeast. So it's always cool to get out there and see who's going to try and come home with the I don't want to call them virtual bragging rights, because they're still bragging rights nonetheless. But it's always cool to see who's going to come home with the home track win, so to speak.
Yeah, for sure. And Dover, too. I mean, Dover's pretty close for some of those Pennsylvania guys. Not too far for the New England guys either. And so, yeah, that's another one that these guys, not just for being close to home, but closing out this NEP season. We're not going NEP racing again until October. So it's one of those things where they want to finish this off strong before they go back out to the real racetracks. Just have a little bit of fun both on and off the track.
Taking a look at the points there, you're going to flip-flop those 2 names there between Ryan Messer and Reagan Parent, as they have flip-flopped their positions once again. We're trying out these new tools that RSL TV has kind of hooked us up with behind the scenes to track the point standings as they run. And there you can see the race to the championship, now down to presumably 3 drivers between Steve Daddio, Ryan Messer, and Reagan Parent. Currently, as they run, 22 points separate first and third. And we have seen some crazy things happen here on VidaneTV. We've seen some crazy things happen here in the NEP series. So that 22 points could I don't want to say it's meaningless, but that 22-point lead could go away very, very quickly here on a Thursday night.
Oh yeah, I mean maybe not as drastically as before, as now we're down to only about 16 or 17 cars on the lead lap when it was 21, 23 again. That little blinking kind of concerns me with Regan Parent, though. We saw that happen last week at Talladega. That kind of kept him from having a solid run. Hopefully that doesn't affect him here when we go back to green for these final 10 laps. He currently rides in fifth, right there with Steven Daddio, right there behind him. And so Regan Parent going to try to finish off a decent run here. Ryan Messer bringing out the back of the top 10 at the moment. And yeah, we're going to see what happens when we go green here momentarily.
And another driver we haven't mentioned all night here this evening, not here this evening, Mike Hopkins having some truck trouble on the way to the virtual racetrack. Got to give a shout out to Tri-State Towing for hooking him up and hopefully getting him back to the virtual race car here shortly. But green flag flies with less than 10 laps to go, 9 laps to go here at Atlanta in the Rapid 65. Kenny Kibbe pulling away by about 5 car lengths. They're 4 wide and behind for second.
Yeah, it's getting down to crunch time now, so lots to do here, and it's getting pretty exciting. Brandon Newhouse this time has to deal with Steven Daddio, and it looks like Daddio is going to clear him for the time being and take that second spot. Steven Daddio trying to finish off another race very strong. We've pretty much talked to him on the podium almost every race here lately, and that's the way you do it to seal off a championship run. Daddio does have a couple of victories this season, and he'd like to get number 3, but Kenny Kibbe, once again, the car to beat, it seems. He's actually only looking for his second win this year after a pretty dominating season last year.
7 laps to go as they cross the stripe. You can see those front 5 kind of accordion back up to the back bumper of that 4 car. Steve Daddio there in second. He's going to keep that momentum going on the high side, move up the track just a little bit, try and get a little bit of a push there from the 56 car of Bollier, who's the 3rd car on the outside line, 4th car overall. They're side by side. Little bit of a hiccup there from the 4 car, backs up to the front bumper of the 99 of Daddio, and that's going to bunch up the next 4 cars up in here. They're also joined by, get this, Zane Farrell in the 14 car. How about the recovery for Zaney in that red and black ride?
Yeah, here he comes, and that's part of that was key, where Dale Glessner and Zane Farrell, both of them, were able to get it down on the binders and get things slowed down enough so that they could, salvage a decent run here, or even a top-notch run, as we see right now with Zane. So a lot going on here on track, though, as we are we are at 5 laps to go now. Single file for the time being, but a few close calls there, and Daddio's going for the lead.
Yeah, how do you know you got 5 laps to go in any Atlanta race when 8 of the top 10 hit the wall coming across the stripe? How about that? 56 car of Bollier diving down low underneath current points leader Steve Daddio. Going to try and hold on it, drift up the track just a little bit. Newhouse is loving this. He's going to try and take both of these drivers here with 4 laps to go. Does he have enough time to make that move?
Oh, it could definitely happen here. We've got a bunch of cars. I don't know. Anyone's going to be trying to make a move here. We saw another brush with the wall there. That was I missed who that was. Everyone's, like you said, everyone's just kind of riding that wall at this point. But Brandon Newhouse, I think that was in the 3 car, as he continues to ride in the top 5, trying to salvage a decent finish here. We're coming to 3 laps to go. He's trying to keep Regan Parent behind him, but trying to get to Evan Bollier in 3rd. Brandon Newhouse really wants to solidify a top 5 run tonight, as he has looking for his first top 5 of the season. And it would be cool to talk to him on the podium, too. But right now, he's got to catch back up to Daddio and Bollier.
Yeah, Steve Daddio seems like he's doing everything he can to throw this second place away, getting up into that outside wall. But he's going to come to the stripe behind Kenny Kibbe to popsicle sticks. 2 laps to go here in the Rapid 65 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Kenny Kibbe, 4/10 of a second lead over Daddio, Bollier, U-House, and Parent, the top 5 as they run.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that in that exact order before we're all said and done, though. As we got all kinds of battles going on here. They've spread out a little bit, but here comes Keith Lord looking his way into the top 5, while Kenny Kibbe continues to stretch things out. This could be his race to lose right now as we are enter the final lap here at Atlanta.
This race is official. White flag, white rag. 1 lap to go for all these drivers here at the big track at Atlanta. Mile and a halfer getting ready to be in the books down the back straightaway for the final time. Kenny Kibbe looks in his rearview mirror and he sees a 4/10 of a second gap back to the points leader, to Steve Daddio, having himself a solid run there in second. They're side by side for third. Checkered flag waves as they come out of turn number 4, Barney, and the flag stand says it's Kibbe, Daddio, and Bollier.
Bollier by just inches there. Looks like 300ths of a second over Regan Parent for that spot, and that's 1 point that Daddio gained on Parent as thanks to Evan Bollier. So that's going to be interesting too. Points are still going to be close coming out of this race. We'll have to check that before we go. But here's your final results. Kibbe, Daddio, Bollier, Parent, and Lord, the top 5. U-House slips just 1 spot back from a top 5 finish in 6th. Dane Farrell, Austin Belke, Corey Casgrande, and we didn't say much about Johnny Miller. He rounds out the top 10.
Dale Glessner in the 10 car up in the top 10 for most of the night, just going to finish outside, barely in 11th. Ryan Messer came in 3rd in the points, dropping back just a little bit further on back. He's going to finish in 12th. Jason Ricker going to finish in 13th. Adam Henry, Brian Ship, the top 15. Scott McDonald, Jared Adams, Ryan Salvatore back there in 18th. 19th going to go to Jeffrey Brown. 20th, Colby Burkholder, Ryan Libby, Bobby Ship, and Brent Roy, Cody LeBlanc. The 24 car is going to going to round out the field. Easy enough for me to say here at Atlanta, and we can take a quick and ferocious look at the points after 65 laps. Regan Parent lost 2 points on points leader Steve Daddio, so still a tight points battle going into the final 2 races, and we're going to talk to our top 3 drivers here momentarily. But man, oh man, what a crazy race here at Atlanta.
Yeah, for sure. And Kenny Kibbe, I think we were looking at that points as they run, but I think Kenny Kibbe's going to get into that top 5, maybe even up to 4th with Brent Roy's DNF. And I think we've caught up with Kenny Kibbe now. Kenny, great run right tonight, a dominant run almost. But those guys behind you, I knew you were looking in your rearview mirror quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely kept me honest. I was hoping the race was going to be like completely clean because the longer the race went, the better I was. So those short runs at the end scared me a little bit. But we needed the 1 caution because a bunch of us were going to be short on fuel there with how the first caution played out. So yeah, they kept me honest there, but I just tried to be smooth and keep my composure, keep the track position. I had to be a little bit defensive there on that last restart. But I knew after a little while tires would come in and we could set sail.
Yeah, and I know we entered this race outside the top 5 points, unofficially probably getting into the top 5 again, but still a very outside shot for defending the title. I'm sure coming into this night, it was pretty much you're just going for wins now to close out the season, I'm sure.
Yeah, that was kind of the focus this whole year because I knew I was going to miss a couple races, so I'm gonna miss the next one at New Hampshire. So that'll take me out of the fight. But the focus is to just coach Steve Daddio, our teammate, to a championship hopefully, so I can pass the baton on to him and we can keep it in the 4 wide family. But otherwise, I'm going for wins, and so I was pretty pumped about this one tonight.
And we'll be passing the baton to Paul here shortly to talk to Steve Daddio. But first, we'll give you the opportunity to tell us who gets you to and from the track.
I'd just like to thank everybody at the NEP Grand National Series for coming together every week. YRD Designs for sponsoring the series. Great run for Brandon tonight, too. It was fun racing with him. He did great out there. And congrats to my teammates again. Solid runs all the way across the board, and that's really fun to race with all them guys. We all help each other out a lot. Thanks to you guys at VidaneTV for the broadcasts. And thanks to anybody else that's out there watching, and thanks to everybody who rides on board with me every week.
All right, that's your winner, Kenny Kibbe. We'll see him in 2 weeks to close out the season at Dover. But we still got 2 more races to go, and Stephen Daddio is the one in the catbird seat. And Paul, I believe you're with him.
Indeed, I am driver of the Nines 99 car of Steve Daddio, and a solid run here tonight. Led a bunch of laps up in the top 3, top 5 all night long, finishing in second, but more importantly, extending that points lead by 2 points heading into the final 2 races. What's the game plan going into these final 2, Steve?
To be honest with you, just keep it up front. That's it. I think we said last week, just give the pedal to the floor. My strategy was a little different than Kibb's this time, and I think we flipped positions from last year's race. I don't know what I could have done differently. Honestly, I thought it was a great race. Everybody was pretty clean up top, and I don't know. That was a good run. But yeah, like I said, just keep it up front. Try to get some fast laps, lead some laps, and extend that lead.
And we just heard Kenny Kibbe, last year's season champion here, getting ready to hand off the proverbial baton. How cool would it be for the team to get back-to-back championships here in 3 weeks? We were able to make that happen.
I think it would mean a lot, especially not just to me and Kibbe, but to Sal and Austin. I mean, we help each other out. I mean, you heard Kibbs. We help each other out every week. And a couple of years ago, Sal asked me to be a part of the team, so I was honored. It's a lot of fun hanging out with them on Thursday night, and they certainly do coach and help me through with strategy and just what's fast and what's not, and especially the pits too. So I tend to overthink it. So it's great riding around with them. This is certainly a team effort, and it would be really cool to keep it in the 4-wide stable.
2 races left to go. Got to give you an opportunity here. We'll probably see you here in Victory Lane in the next 2 races, if not both of them. But in the meantime, who gets you to and from the virtual racetrack? Who's out there watching?
My 4-wide teammates for sure. I'm going to shout them out first. But Reverie Brewing out of Newtown, Connecticut, all over the car. A great scheme from YRD, Brandon U-House, and then Daddy's Auto Parts. Again, they've been my title sponsor for years. So cool having my dad in the car, and then all my friends and family out there watching. My mom, dad. I think even my wife caught a little bit of this one. She usually goes to bed a little earlier now with the baby, but I think she even watched. And Jay, Mort, Sean, Clark, they're constantly asking questions after the race, so it's cool to chat with them, and appreciate everybody's support.
Started P2, finished P2, gained 2 points on that point cushion with 2 races left to go in the season. Steve Daddio, great run here tonight in the double nines.
Thanks, guys.
And Aaron, last but not least, you've caught up with our 3rd place finisher, Evan Bullier, in that 56 car.
Evan, great run there down the stretch, and you had to make some interesting passes there to get to the podium there. Take us through those final laps.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Feels good to be back up here. It's been a long, rough stretch. Really happy to be in this car, in this package, at a track where tires matter. Feel like that's one of my strengths for whatever reason, and showed it tonight. Just at the end, kind of put ourselves in a track position game. Trying to conserve, but also not, lose touch with the leaders. Kibbe and Daddio were doing a really good job at keeping good pace and also saving. So I knew that those 2 were going to be the ones to really race with at the end, and tried to stay there, but had to make a few moves that really burned it up a little bit. And towards the end, that right front was just about gone. It's that's part of the game. Unfortunately, we didn't qualify well, so had to keep working that tire strategy to make our way back through the field, then go back a few spots and back through the field again. But yeah, like those 2 said, it was a clean race. Everybody up front was racing super hard, but fair. I just appreciate all the guys here. I mean, this series has come such a long way in the quality of the racing, and it's a ton of fun. Nights like this are a ton of fun.
Absolutely, and I know you're getting antsy to get that Hancock Lumber number 56 on the racetrack for the regular racing season, but I know you got 2 more weeks left, and you're searching for that first victory, I think, of the NEP season still.
Yeah.
What do you think your chances are here coming into this final two
Well,
races?
yeah, I'd really love to get the car in victory lane, obviously. We got two good tracks coming up. I love Loudon, and Dover's my favorite track. I love that place, so really looking forward to those two. I'm glad that we're out of the late model car. For whatever reason, I was not good in the late model stock all year, for whatever reason. So just happy to be in the Xfinity car for the rest of the season and to close it out, and see what we can do.
Yeah, and we'll give you one more chance to thank those. I know you thanked a couple folks already, but thank those that help you out and get here on Thursday nights.
I got to thank the whole 229 Autosport group. Brent Roy, unfortunately, had trouble early, but solid teammate. He was in my ear for the rest of the race, coaching me through it and, really pumping me up. We had a bad restart once, and he kept my head in the game, and really appreciate that, and all the crew. And, Jason Ricker, congratulations on his Oxford 250 win last night. That was awesome to see. So 229, then obviously my great sponsors on the car, Hancock Lumber, Brett Davis Real Estate, Sunday Morning Farm, New York Construction, Atlantic AV, JPS, K&B Automotive, my wife, my daughter, LB Cleaning Company, Laverier Auto Detailing, ABG Heating and Cooling, and then myself, Nitro Designs. Probably going to go put some design work together after this and get towards racing season. I'm looking forward to it. Our first race is in May at Star Speedway, and can't wait to be back with my dad and Derek and the boys, and Cody and Lou and the whole team. I can't wait to get back at the track, and Star is one of my favorite tracks. I'm really looking forward to the season to get started.
All right. Well, we'll let Evan go. He's got a lot going on here. Congratulations to him on the third place finish. Paul, back to you to wrap things up.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for all you do.
Absolutely. Always putting on a show here on VidaneTV, especially here on Thursday nights when it's NEP's night in America and even parts of Canada all the way around the world. And it's crazy to think we've only got two races left in the season. iRacing world starting to get things kind of wrapped up as things start to warm up here in the Northeast. The snow is all gone. I know the basement's flooded. Lots of stuff going on, but man, oh man. Real racing's coming, and there you can see the virtual helicopter. We're going to get the heck on out of here. We're back here Monday night for the Super Late Model Series presented by Easy Clean. Their final race of the season. Next Thursday night, we're here for two races to go with the NEP Series, and we will see you then. We will catch you on the flip side, and when we do, we will be doing it live here at VidaneTV.